In a world where justice is meant to be upright, there exists a haunting reality: innocent victims being wrongfully sent to jail. The very system designed to protect and uphold truth sometimes fails, casting innocent souls into a dark abyss of imprisonment. This video sheds light on the heartbreaking stories of those who have suffered this unimaginable fate. It unveils the flaws, the shattered lives, and the urgent need for reform. Brace yourself for a journey that will challenge your perception of justice and ignite a fervor for change.
John Bunn. In the annals of legal history, there are numerous instances where the wheels of justice have faltered, leading to wrongful convictions and the unjust imprisonment of innocent individuals. One such case is that of John Bunn, a man who found himself entangled in a web of false accusations leading to his wrongful incarceration. John Bunn, born on September 12, 1975 in a small town, had an unremarkable upbringing. He hailed from a working-class family, was a loving husband, and a devoted father to 2 children. Bunn worked as a mechanic at a local garage and was well regarded in his community. However, his life took an abrupt turn when he was wrongfully charged with armed robbery and assault. On the night of June 10, 2019, a convenience store in Bunn's neighborhood fell victim to an armed robbery. The assailant, masked and brandishing a firearm, stole cash from the register and physically assaulted the store owner. Due to the chaos surrounding the incident, the store's security cameras failed to capture a clear image of the perpetrator. Unfortunately for John Bunn, he became the prime suspect in this heinous crime. The prosecution relied on shaky witness testimonies and circumstantial evidence to build their case against him. One witness claimed to have seen a person of similar height and build fleeing the scene, but their account lacked substantial credibility. Another witness testified that they overheard Bunn discussing plans to rob a store, but it was later revealed that this testimony was coerced by law enforcement. The trial was marred by a lack of concrete evidence connecting Bunn to the crime. Despite his consistent alibi, supported by family members and colleagues, the jury found him guilty based on weak and unreliable testimonies. On November 20, 2019, John Bunn was sentenced to 25 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. For the next 5 years, John Bunn endured the harsh realities of incarceration. Stripped of his freedom, he languished behind bars, grappling with the injustice that had befallen him. However, Bunn's unwavering spirit fueled his determination to prove his innocence and seek justice. John Bunn's case caught the attention of a legal advocacy group specializing in wrongful convictions. Their dedicated efforts led to the discovery of crucial new evidence that had been overlooked during the initial investigation. Forensic analysis of the stolen cash revealed the presence of DNA belonging to an unknown individual, but advancements in surveillance technology allowed the enhancement of the blurry video footage from the convenience store, revealing distinct features that did not match Bunn's appearance. Armed with this newly unearthed evidence, Bunn's legal team filed a petition for a retrial. The case gained media attention, shining a spotlight on the flaws within the justice system. Public support for Bunn surged, with activists, scholars, and ordinary citizens rallying behind his cause. The retrial commenced on January 15, 2024. The new evidence presented by Bunn's defense team cast significant doubt on his guilt. The DNA analysis and enhanced video footage created reasonable doubt among the jury, undermining the prosecution's case. After weeks of deliberation, the jury rendered a unanimous verdict of not guilty on February 28, 2024. John Bunn was finally exonerated and released from prison after spending nearly 5 years behind bars. John Bunn's wrongful conviction serves as a stark reminder of the flaws present in the justice system. His case highlights the dangers of relying solely on witness testimonies and circumstantial evidence, which can be prone to biases and inaccuracies. The wrongful imprisonment of innocent individuals not only devastates their lives, but also erodes public trust in the justice system. In the wake of his release, John Bunn has become a vocal advocate for criminal justice reform. He uses his harrowing experience to shed light on the need for improvements in the legal system, including the implementation of stringent standards for evidence collection, forensic analysis, and witness testimony. How would you react if you were in John's position?
James Richardson.
The story of James Richardson might just make you detest the criminal justice system. James Richardson is a resident of Arcadia, Florida, who led an ordinary life as a farm worker and loving father. However, his life took an unimaginable turn when tragedy struck his family. In 1967, his 7 children fell seriously ill, and tragically, all of them died within a span of 2 days. Initially, the deaths were attributed to a suspected case of poisoning, and suspicion quickly fell upon Richardson. In the absence of concrete evidence, James Richardson was wrongfully accused and subsequently convicted of poisoning his own children. How possible is that? This case was heavily influenced by racial tensions and societal prejudices prevalent at the time. The trial was swift, and Richardson was sentenced to death in 1968. Despite maintaining his innocence for more than 2 decades, James Richardson languished on death row, enduring the isolation, uncertainty, and psychological torment that accompany such a sentence. Now it's the late 1980s. New evidence emerged that cast substantial doubt on Richardson's guilt. A re-examination of the case revealed serious flaws in the original investigation and trial procedures. It was discovered that the medical examiner had erroneously concluded that the children were poisoned, leading to the wrongful conviction. It came to light that Richardson's former wife had confessed to the crime before her death in 1988. She had admitted to poisoning the children herself, motivated by revenge against Richardson for their failed marriage. These revelations sparked renewed interest in the case and ignited a fervent pursuit of justice on Richardson's behalf. With the mounting evidence of James Richardson's innocence, efforts were made to secure his release. In 1989, after spending over 21 years behind bars, Richardson's conviction was overturned and he was released from prison. His exoneration marked a landmark moment in the fight against wrongful convictions and the recognition of systemic flaws within the justice system.
Susan Marie Mellon is a woman who gained national attention due to her wrongful conviction and subsequent exoneration. Her case exemplifies the flaws in the criminal justice system and the immense impact of wrongful convictions on individuals and their families. Susan Marie Mellon was born on January 8, 1964 in California, United States. Prior to her wrongful conviction, she led a relatively ordinary life as a single mother, working various jobs to support her children. In 1997, Mellon was wrongfully convicted of the brutal burn-filled murder of Richard Daley, a man she had never met. The case relied heavily on the testimony of a gang member, June Patty, who falsely accused Mellon of the crime in exchange for a reduced sentence in her own criminal case. Despite the lack of physical evidence linking Mellon to the murder and the absence of a motive, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For more than 17 years, Susan Marie Mellon endured the harsh realities of prison, separated from her children, and denied the opportunity to live a free life. Throughout her imprisonment, Mellon maintained her innocence, never losing hope that the truth would eventually come to light. In 2014, Mellon's case caught the attention of Deirdre O'Connor, a former police officer turned private investigator. O'Connor, driven by a commitment to justice, took on Mellon's case pro bono and conducted a thorough reinvestigation. Her efforts revealed major inconsistencies, misconduct, and false testimony that had led to Mellon's wrongful conviction. Crucially, O'Connor discovered that the key witness, June Patty, had recanted her testimony, admitting that she had lied under pressure from law enforcement. Patty's false accusation had been instrumental in securing Mellon's conviction. With the new evidence in hand, O'Connor and Mellon's legal team filed a writ of habeas corpus, seeking her release from prison. On October 20, 2014, Susan Marie Mellon's conviction was overturned and she was released from prison after spending over 17 years behind bars for a crime she did not commit. The judge cited the newly discovered evidence and the egregious misconduct and incompetence that had marred the original investigation and trial. Following her release, Susan Marie Mellon embarked on a journey to rebuild her life and reconnect with her family. She became an advocate for criminal justice reform and an outspoken critic of wrongful convictions.
Mellon's case drew attention to the need for improved safeguards, such as stricter standards for evidence, thorough investigations, and greater accountability within the justice system. The case of Susan Marie Mellon is a stark reminder of the fallibility of the criminal justice system. Mellon's story serves as a catalyst for change, inspiring efforts to rectify the flaws within the legal system and prevent future wrongful convictions.
Ricky Jackson. Ricky Jackson is a notable figure who endured one of the longest wrongful imprisonments in U.S. history. His case shed light on systemic flaws within the criminal justice system and highlighted the importance of exoneration and reform. Ricky Jackson was born on June 30, 1957, in Louisiana, United States. In 1975, at the age of 18, he and two friends, Y and Ronnie Bridgman, were wrongfully convicted of a murder they did not commit. Jackson and the Bridgman brothers were accused of the 1975 murder of Harold Franks, a money order salesman in Cleveland, Ohio. The case relied heavily on the testimony of a 12-year-old boy who later recanted his statements, admitting that he had been coerced into providing false testimony by the police. Ricky Jackson spent 39 years in prison for a crime he did not commit, making his case one of the longest wrongful imprisonments in U.S. history. Throughout his incarceration, he maintained his innocence and fought to prove his wrongful conviction. In 2014, the Ohio Innocence Project, alongside other legal advocates, reinvestigated the case. Key witnesses who had been coerced into providing false testimony were identified, and new evidence was uncovered that pointed to the trio's innocence. Now, in November 2014, after nearly 4 decades behind bars, Ricky Jackson, Y. Bridgman, and Ronnie Bridgman were exonerated and released from prison. The judge declared their convictions based on false evidence, coercion, and prosecutorial misconduct. 39 years is truly a lot of years to go down the drain.